We are covering today 1.1a, which is in the syllabus, the introduction and the differentiation between micro and macroeconomics. So very important to remember is that those who make the decisions, the choices in the economy, is not only me and you, it's also firms and it's also the government that are involved. Okay, we divide micro and macroeconomics. If you look at the slide with the cartoon on it, you will see that microeconomics more look at the smaller picture of economics, where macroeconomics more look at the bigger picture of economics. And those who make the decisions on allocation of resources in microeconomics is the individuals, the household, and the firms. Where if we look to macroeconomics, then it will obviously be the government with other countries involved. Okay, as we have said that microeconomics look at the demand for a good or a service, the supply for a specific factor of production like labor, and prices of goods and services. And then the business can also decide how the goods must be produced or how many goods they want to produce. Okay, if we have macroeconomics, as I've said, this is very broader look. Here you look at the country economics in general, not what happened in your house or what happened in your business. This is the country's economics. This is the economics of Namibia with the rest of the world. So this is a much broader look. We look at the growth rate of Namibia in comparison to other years or in comparison to other countries. We look at inflation rates, which indicate the prices from previous years to this year. We look at the unemployment rate of our country. And we look at prices or interest rates where it comes to products on average, not a specific product, like I've said, the carrots, or like I've said, the wage of a worker. You look in general, what is the average price of goods and services? And that is influenced or indicated by a measurement of inflation. You have heard about inflation, but inflation, interest rates, economic growth, and unemployment look at the broader part of economics. Okay, I have an example which you will see on the PowerPoint. There they divide the micro into examples of a business that sell burgers. So here they ask the question, how many burgers must we produce? Then they ask the question, what is the price we must sell the burgers for? And how many workers do we need that work here? Must we train these workers? How much training do they need? So that is workers, your product, and what is happening in your business. But if we look at macroeconomics, for example, here they talk about how many products is produced, goods and services in India, for example. What is the price of all the goods and services on average? How did it increase from one year to another in India? And then they asked the total wages that was earned by workers in that economy. So, and then the last part, they will look at how many workers are employed in this country. Not employed in a business, like in the case of microeconomics, but employed in the country. And that gives you a broader look what is going on in a specific country or in the rest of the world. I hope by this you can identify the difference between micro and macroeconomics. Okay, students must understand that microeconomics is the economic view on individuals, what they demand, what jobs they provide, and households the same, and firms, where macroeconomics is a broader economics or economic view of a country. Okay, you can do the following classwork that is on the board. Here I normally use old newspapers. Give each student a newspaper like this and ask them to cut out 3 articles which they can find on microeconomics and 3 articles that they can find on macroeconomics. And then they indicate this is micro, and they write the answer why they think this is micro. So they must give a reason for their decision. So if they get an article on wage increases that we have here, that the workers of the government claim for higher wages, some of the workers, then this is a problem that they can look at and decide, how will we allocate this? Is it a problem for the country, or is it a problem for a business? And or for an individual. And if that's the case, you can decide where you will allocate that. Okay, teachers can discuss these questions with the class after they have wrote down their answers next to each article. They can also mark it for homework mark points. Okay, and then I offer to you also an exam question or a test question where you can test if the student understands this. You can copy paste articles from newspaper article, and then you can ask the question, determine the reason. If the article is about, or reasons, if the article is about macro or microeconomics, and then you can also ask a question, differentiate between micro and macroeconomics, or define micro and macroeconomics. That is examples you can test your students on.